indicates there was no change in the period. The transformation of media has changed the way information is both used and studied.
When sentencing, the court will depend on whether the criminal is guilty or not. The theme of the instrumental work exhibits more of a demure, compositional style.
We need to answer security questions if we want to reset the password. Make sure you have saved all the files before turning off the computer.
It is interesting to observe the development of the language skills of toddlers.
Doctoral writings have a structure in place, as well as scientific papers.
A demonstrated ability to write clear, correct, and concise English is obligatory. In addition to the class requirements, students must pass the qualifying examinations. Recession triggers creativity and high rates of entrepreneurship due to past experience. Statistical results should be expressed in different ways depending on the circumstances. The lecture tomorrow will discuss the educational policy in the United States.
Social media is responsible for helping the government to solve social problems.
Those who are considering a career in marketing should attend the talk. As student union members, we can influence the change of the university. There are more opportunities to receive the grants in most anticipated fields. Tutors should set a clear goal at the start of the class. The essay will argue that the technology does more harm than good. Native speakers are exempted from the language tests in their own languages.
Physics is a key subject for understanding the world and the universe.
The garden behind the university is open to the public in summer.
Note the lecture will begin punctually, so please do not be late.
The researchers are disappointed that their materials are proved to be inconclusive. Scholarship applications must be handed in at the end of the month. Students are required an undergraduate biology degree to enroll in this course. Please return the reference book to the correct position on the shelf.
Sugar is a soluble carbohydrate which is always used in sweet food.
Our company is intended to hire more than 10,000 people worldwide. The degree is taught by using a mixture of lectures and seminars. The university's main library will be open till midnight until next Monday. Lecture outlines are available on the faculty board and the internal website. There is an agreed consensus that the leadership skills can be taught.
The university will seek a colossal renovation for the old, empty theater.
Graduates from this course generally find jobs in the insurance industry. The results of the study underscore the discoveries from early detection. Although sustainable development is not easy, it is an unavoidable responsibility.
Every student has both the right and the ability to succeed.
Experts are now able to forecast weather over much longer periods. Higher numbers of patients were infected during previous outbreaks of illness. The typical part of this course involves the study of society. It is really a comprehensive program comprising both theory and practice. Let me give you an example to explain what I mean.
Making mistakes is fine, as long as you learn from them.
Parents are financially responsible for their children until they reach adulthood. She has made a significant contribution to the field of chemistry.
The archaeologists' new discoveries stand out in the previously overlooked foundations.
The city's founders created a set of rules that became laws. The extent of advertising for children is open to much debate.
The marketing budget has doubled since the beginning of the year.
We can see the stars that formed 13 billion years ago.
The professor took a year off to work on her book. There is a clear need for further research in this field. Those seeking for formal extension should contact their faculty for information. Traveling by boat on the river is not possible in winter. Distance learning allows you to develop a career around your commitments. The visiting speaker used to be a lecturer in this department.
For the purpose of research, data should be collected and analyzed. Students are encouraged to read new books recommended by Professor Jones.
Despite their differences, all forms of life share the same characteristics.
Many vocational courses in the institution are funded by private enterprises. Make sure you choose a course that provides great career opportunities. Undergraduates have a wide range of cultural modules to choose from.
Implementation figures are expected to improve over the next few years.
This book can be borrowed for a maximum of 1 week.
Sugar is a compound which consists of carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen.
Eating fish twice a week is a recommendation of Health Diet. The course covers architecture planning and construction on the international scale. Babies can distinguish between what is language and what is not. The two sides have disagreed on how to solve the problem.
All medical students must clean their hands before entering the room. The coffee machine on the third floor is not working today.
Most of the lectures begin promptly, so do not be late.
Scientists recognize different ice types according to the water molecule content.
The government is funding research study on the consequences of unemployment. Experts say learning and listening to music can reduce the stress. Researches show that spending time outdoors has a range of benefits. There are a variety of different ways to present statistical information. Accommodations on campus are limited, but there are more options nearby.
Libraries in many areas were closed due to lack of funding.
An essay should use evidence from both primary and secondary sources. The university library holds a number of collections of geological maps.
We help students to develop their individualities and follow their interests.
Rising inflation means increasing goods prices and decreasing demand for products. Technology is no longer a simple tool that we can control. Please follow the guidelines for more information on setting the goals. Many universities are continuously expanding the postgraduate education's online learning resources. Our aim is to transmit the mathematics teaching in the classroom. There are a variety of disciplines in the field of engineering. Medical researchers have focused on the causes of diseases and treatments. We are more able to accommodate postgraduate students than previously possible. The closing date of application for travel scholarship is next Monday.
All industries consist of systems of inputs, processes, outputs, and feedback.
Thousands of people turned out to be at the presidential address. Many food crops require a large amount of water and fertilizer.
Optional tutorials are offered in the final week of a term.
A campus tour is beneficial at the beginning of each term. This is the first example of a modern and professional army. The author expressed an idea that modern readers inevitably cannot accept. A regional assembly was created following the devolution of power.
A celebrated theory is still the source of great controversy. A very basic feature of computing is counting and calculating.
An architect requires problem-solving skills and an eye for design.
Animals raised in captivity behave differently than their wild counterparts.
Building trust is not something that can be achieved overnight.
Convincing evidence to support this theory is hard to obtain. Classical mechanics is sometimes considered as a branch of mathematics.
The economic strength of early Roman Republic will be examined.
Education and training provide important skills for the labor force.
A good research assistant is not afraid to ask questions.
Find out how to get your resources before your research. Organizational failure is considered from various perspectives in academic literature. Peer group pressure has a great effect on young people. Please note, submission deadlines are only negotiable in exceptional circumstances. The development has a great negative impact on the environment. She began by giving an outline of the previous lecture. She used to be the editor of the student newspaper. Some people believe that education should be free for all. Students are advised to use multiple methods for this project. Students are encouraged to think carefully about their accommodation needs.
Students requiring an extension should apply sooner rather than later.
The curriculum needed to be adjusted for the current development.
The essay will be published once the research is finished. The exam system has been upgraded due to professional exams. The faculty staff are very approachable, helpful, and extremely friendly. The introduction is an important component of a good presentation.
The plight of wildlife has been ignored by local developers.
The school's summer programs help students to accelerate their studies.
The theater study courses encourage students to exercise their creativity.
Timetables for the new term will be available next week.
More research is required in the field of food science.
Understanding how to use the library will save your time. We can work together to achieve the higher educational standards. Writing an essay is easy once the research is finished. You should submit your team papers to the general office.
More research is needed before any definitive conclusion is drawn.
Strangely, people are simultaneously impressed by and skeptical of statistics.
The reception staff can give advice about renting private accommodation. The speaker began by giving an outline of her presentation.
We can all meet in the office after the lecture. Too much information may be avoided by good research design. Graphs and charts allow data more easily to be understood.
Banks charge interest for money they loan to their customers.
The new technician dropped the microscope in the biology lab.
Criminal charges will be brought against all of the men.
International exchanges formed the important part of our study program. The stock market cracked and had repercussions throughout the world.
Many universities' lectures can now be reviewed on the Internet. Air pollution is a serious problem all over the world. Children start producing words before they are able to walk.
The timetable for next term will be available next week.
The history lecture has been moved to the lecture theater.
Key business partners are often involved in shared expense accounts.
The reception staff can give information of lending and printing.
The library will be closed for staff training tomorrow morning.
Even simple techniques need to be practiced to become perfect.
The department is doing some crucial work on climate change.
The English degree involves certain placements in the third year. Art and design is a competitive field to work in. Imported packages are likely to be used in many computers. It takes a long time to walk to the university. The universities provide excellent leisure facilities for students and staff.
Students would develop confidence in their ability to think critically.
Online courses enable people to improve their skills while employed. Many university lectures can now be viewed on the Internet.
The British students need to study mathematics in secondary schools. City planners recognize citizens' needs of accessible public transport options. There is no economic reason that borrowing is necessarily bad.
For the small businesses, making profit is the main priority. Students are recommended to read new books by Professor Johns. A wide range of aspects are covered in this subject. A surprisingly large number of students applied for that course. This course can help to deepen your appreciation of art. It is clear that the human population impacts the environment. Our company currently employs more than 10,000 people worldwide. The terms illness and disease are confusing despite clear differences. The study of utilizing projects is funded by the university. Most known oil reserves last for only half a century.
Online courses allow students to work at their own pace.
Companies' projects must adapt to the general data protection regulations. Our aim is to transform classical teaching in the classroom. He wrote poetry and plays as well as scientific papers. The falling birth rate means the number of students drops. Our lecture today will discuss the American War of Independence. The tutorial timetable can be found on the course website. The capacity of programming computers is expanding enormously every year. The untapped potential of using the sun's rays is phenomenal. Global connections thrive in academic communities thanks to social media. Rising inflation may indicate the increasing demands for consumer products. Foods containing overabundant calories supply little or no nutritional value. The history of economics is a tricky subject to study. This is a compulsory course, so make sure you attend. The new lecture theater accommodates a large number of students.
All students can learn, even though they have different speeds. We encourage students to complete their applications before the deadline. Many students are now studying science, technology, engineering, and maths. Tutorials are scheduled in the final week of the term.
Social psychology is concerned with the understanding of human behavior. The notification will not be received until the following week. A new article was published regarding the university last week.
All dissertations must be accompanied with a submission form. Please click the logo above to enter the site. Collaboration between departments is a feature of successful companies. Despite the protest, the chemistry department was closed down. The course places considerable emphasis on critical thinking skills. I will come back to this in a moment. Many